everyone, welcome back to SkillDeck channel. My name is Richa. I'm back again with the next video. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of HR policies. Yes, you have requested me a lot of times to create the video on this topic, so here I am with the video. I'll be creating two parts of this video. Part 1, policies related to our labor laws, means the policies which we should have in the organization, the must policies, because that's linked with our labor laws. And the second part will be mainly related to our HR processes, performance management, recruitment, for employee safety, security, well-being. Those all things we will be learning in part 2. So today part 1 is mainly about the policies that is related with our labor laws. Whether you are an HR professional or anyone who wants to learn how the policies are created, this video is definitely for you. So stay tuned and let's start learning now about HR policies. What are HR policies? HR policies are the backbone of an organization. It tells us how the company is going to function, how the company is going to manage its human resources, how the company is going to operate. What are the main guidelines that every employee has to follow? That are called as HR policies. HR policies are bifurcated in very different heads, like policies that is should be aligned and adhere to our legal and compliance. So we call them as legal and compliance policies. Policies for employee relations, policies for employee protection, policies for organization culture, policies for fair treatment, and policies for HR processes. These are the super heads of the type of the policies we have. Today in this video, we are going to talk about the policies which we must have. There are two type of things: must have and good to have. Must have means we need to adhere to certain labor laws to frame the policies. So those we are going to cover today. In the part 2, you will be learning the another heads: employee relation policy, policy for employee protection, HR processes policies, policies for fair treatment. That all you are going to learn in part 2. So let's start the part 1 and let's talk about legal and compliance issue. Before that, you need to understand that when we make a policy, there are certain rules we need to follow. Those rules are called as the guidelines, means the thing or a principle of a HR policy. Whatever the policy you are creating, that should be fair, should be transparent, should be adhered and inclined or linked with our labor laws, should be consistent. It shouldn't be like that, okay, one, it's only for a one department. If it is, that has to be mentioned clearly in the scope. The policy should be regularly checked, there should be a scope of continuous improvement, should be always written in a bullet point, not in a paragraphs, should be in a very clear language, not in a complicated language, should have all the details when the policy was started, when it was framed, when it was implemented, when the revision happened, what was the revision date. Those all things should be there in the policy. That's called as principle of the HR policy. Now we are going to see what are the different policies we must have and to which act of India that is related. First, let's talk about our working hours, shift hour, break hour, leave policy. That all is related with either shop and establishment act of your state, where your office is, or it is related to factory act. So if you are a factory, you have to make a guidelines as per the factory act, and if you are shop and establishment, you have to make the guidelines as per shop and establishment act. Contract letter and appointment letter, for that we have a standing order act and OSHW code. Although OSHW code is not yet implemented, but still it's a good practice that we should start following OSH code guidelines to frame the appointment letter, because it says that giving an appointment letter is now mandatory in labor laws in India. Previously, giving an appointment letter was not mandatory. Only the standing order says that the whatever it is mentioned in the contract, as per the contract terms or employment terms mentioned in the employment letter, the workman definition will be considered. That's the reason it makes important to give the appointment letter to any individual. We need to frame the policy of equal remuneration, because we have an Equal Remuneration Act which tells that we need to give a equal remuneration to all type of genders, irrespective of their age, gender. The same salary, if the same work is done, the same salary has to be offered. For a salary, like what is the minimum salary to be offered, what has to be a salary day, how much deductions you can do from the salary, how much fine you can put, that all has to be related to minimum wages and payment of wages. You need to follow statutory bonus if you are over 20 and a 5 years old organization, 20 employee strength and a 5 years old organizations. For that, you need to make a bonus policy, statutory bonus policy. There could be a different type of bonus you want to give, but especially for statutory bonus, you have to frame the policy as per the Statutory Bonus Act. Grievance policy, we know that Industrial Dispute Act is there, where Section 2's definition of workman prevails. So everyone comes under the definition of workmen, excluding the supervisors, anyone in anyone in the managerial capacity. So for them, we need to have a GRC committee and a work committee. For a grievance redressal, you need to follow those processes mentioned in the Industrial Dispute Act. So as per that, you need to frame your grievance redressal policy. For anti-sexual harassment, we have a POSH Act. For that, all the guidelines of a POSH, according to that, frame anti-sexual harassment policy. For discipline procedure, and we need to follow a Standing Order Act. For termination, Industrial Dispute Act. PF policy, if you want to keep as per PF Act. Data protection and privacy policy as per IT Act, Personal Data Protection Bill. These are the main important policies of the organization as per legal and compliance. But now, how to go ahead with this? How I will start making the policy? When we'll start a policy, we write the policy name. I'm here not talking about the employee handbook. In employee handbook, there we write a company mission, vision, then we create an annexure. That all I'll be covering in next upcoming videos. Here I'm talking about the specific policy. Suppose I want to make a policy of leave and working hours. For that, I'll give a policy name, leave and working hours. After that, I need to write when the policy is going to be implemented, how many revisions happen, the latest revision name, and I need to give the page number. I need to just proper put a page number, right? How many page policy it is, and then I will start with purpose and scope. What is the purpose of this policy? What is the objective of this policy? What is the scope of this policy? Means who are covered? Is it only for permanent people? Is it only for temporary people, contractual people? So purpose and scope I have to clearly define. Then after that, I have to write the definitions. Definition means the key terms that is related to labor laws. Here we are talking about a labor law policies. First, though, the key terms that's used in the labor law, like example, workmen. What is the definition of workman? What is the definition of working day? That definitions has to be key terms has to be cleared in the definition. Then after that, you need to provide a policy statement, the core rules of that policy. This policy is aligned to this Act of India, that all policy statement and what it will cover. Ensure that your policy is directly linked with the labor laws, as we are talking with the labor laws policies. Write down the procedure and guidelines, like what is going to happen as per this policy, what are the guidelines as per this policy. Write down any annexures, like you are going to give any forms. Example, a PF policy, you want to give a form number 11, so attach the annexure of that. Then write down the responsibility, like related to this policy, who is the responsible person? HR is responsible, compliance person is responsible, name, department, designation, write them. Explain how the organization will monitor this policy. After that, write the approval sections, that who has approved this policy, how often this policy will be renewed. So these will be the main key components of the HR policy. Example, the same I was talking about working hour policy. So example C on your screen as per Shop and Establishment Act. So write down the policy name, when it is implemented, last effective date of the policy and the revision date. Then we'll start with purpose. So purpose is to establish clear guidelines of working hour, ensuring compliance with Shop and Establishment Act of Karnataka, and to promote a fair and balanced work environment of all employees. Scope, this policy is covering, like, to whom? To all, full time, part time, whatever it is. Definition, so I have explained the meaning of overtime, working day, working hour. So the core definitions. Policy statement. The policy says It will cover a working hour, work week, overtime, rest breaks, flexibility, procedure. Now, what is going to be the procedure? Employee need to record their working hour. To use this policy, what is going to be the procedure? How we will ensure that this is followed? Probably attendance machine. Employee need to adhere the working hours as in the software. So as per your company, what you want to use, so you have to write down the procedure completely. Then responsibility. As an employee, what's your responsibility? As a manager, as a department head, so that all responsibility clarify. Then compliance, how this policy is aligned. This policy is aligned to this Act of India, and if you will not follow this policy, can lead to disciplinary action and even including termination. Then review and update, and then communication, and then who has approved it. This is the standard template of framing any law policy. You will start with the purpose, scope, definitions, policy statement, the procedure, how it will be followed in the company, who is the responsible person to follow this, and at what level, what work has to be done by each head, compliance. If not followed compliance, then what will happen? Review, how the communication of this policy will be, and who has approved it. This is the standard parameter. I hope you have understood how do we write the law policies and what are the main important policies that is related with law. We are going to talk about the other HR policies also, but we will be talking in the video number 2. For this video, this video was just to make you understand that what are the main policies in an organization related to compliance we should have. There are different policies also, PMS policy, recruitment policies, onboarding, exit, so many things are there which we will be learning in the next video. For this video, I have given you a template. I will attach this template in the mail, and also I'll give you other templates of the different law policies. If you want to use, you can download from the description box. Let's recap before we end the today's video. So today video was just to make you understand the different type of HR policies, and for labor laws, what are the main policies you should have, what is the standard format, principle, guidelines to write a policy. We should not write a paragraph. For each head, it makes 1 or 2 lines in the bullet format. We have to write. If the line is going more than 2, if one paragraph is going more than 2 points or 2 lines, then put the next pointer of that. Don't, no need to write that in paragraphs. A simple clear language. It should be consistent, it should be regularly monitored, should be regularly updated. Responsibilities of the people adhering to the policies has to be clearly defined. Definitions has to be there. The standard template which I have shown you, that you can follow to frame your labor law policies. The labor law policies and the other policies template I will be attaching in description. You can download from there. If you have liked today's video, hit like, share, comment, and do comment and tell me what are the other videos you want me to record. I'll be waiting for your comments. Go to our website www.theskilldeck.com to know about our upcoming courses related to human resources. We have a complete HR audit course related to labor laws. We have a labor law course also. You can visit our website and enroll for such courses. Do share the channel. As I said before, I'll be meeting you in the next video. By then, take care. Bye bye.